Hi guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. I am a romance author based in the UK. Today I am going to be talking about my experience getting a master's degree in creative writing. Questions that I get asked most often when people find out that I'm a writer. Did I get a degree in writing? Did I enjoy it? Did I find it worthwhile? Did it help me at all in my career as a writer? I want to caveat by saying that it's really hard for me to separate the experience of getting my master's degree with a lot of other changes that happened in my life. I moved to the UK to get my master's degree, and it was while I was here and while I was studying that I met my now husband, that I got an internship at HarperCollins. In this video, I'm gonna try really hard to focus on the master's degree itself, because for most people that get a master's degree, they're probably not going to move to a different country for it, meet their husband, start a job in a whole new industry. We've got a little visitor with us. Hello. Hi, sweet boy. Hi, sweet boy. Do you want to come up? Come on. Good boy. Come on. You got it? You got it? We'll just let Kirby hang out with us. So first, let me tell you about the program that I did. I studied creative writing at the University of Roehampton at the master's level. My undergraduate degree was in the English department, but it was in technical writing. I did take some creative writing classes, only 2 of them, but this was the first time that I was seriously studying creative writing. I did have one of the professors from the university reach out to me because he knew one of my professors from my undergraduate degree, and he ended up being a reference for me within the application process. But I decided to go there specifically because I wanted to move to the UK. Specifically, I wanted to move to London. The timing at which I did my master's degree was also a little bit different in the sense that I didn't go straight out of undergrad. I lived and worked in the US for 2 years after graduation. If you can wait a little while before doing a master's degree, you're going to massively benefit from it for a couple of reasons. First of all, it takes you out of that academia mindset. When you are finishing your undergrad degree, you've been in school for your whole life. And what you don't want is to treat your master's program like just another bit of school. If you're gonna do a master's degree, especially in something like creative writing that doesn't have a lot of professional value in terms of getting a job afterward, it needs to be something that you're really passionate about and that you have a lot of drive for. And for a lot of people, that drive is kind of zapped by the time that you finish an undergrad program. And it's also going to provide important context for you. You don't have that much real life experience probably for most people. And it's really important to get a little bit of that experience. And the more context that you can give yourself, the more it's going to click and the more you're going to be able to create characters and stories that feel really important and feel really permanent and not so transient and trendy. And I've got to say, for a lot of programs, I'm not sure the master's degree would be worth it if you've already done an undergrad degree. If you really, really want to stay in academia and you want to keep studying, consider maybe doing a PhD where you can really specialize in what you want to study. A lot of the things that you'll cover in a master's degree are kind of just a slight step up from the things you would cover in an undergrad degree. And a lot of the craft and the theory that you're covering is probably going to have been covered. You get the idea of creative writing programs as being like people sitting around and like kind of looking at each other like this and talking about literature at its highest form and scribe discussion about your work. And that just doesn't, that's not my thing. I don't like that. I like telling stories, I like hearing stories, and I wanted something that was going to let me do that in a way that was unashamedly romantic and unashamedly commercial, because I knew that I wanted to write popular fiction. I didn't want to write literary fiction. That's never been the kind of writer that I am. I chose the University of Roehampton because it seemed like a really commercial program. I thought of it as being commercial because of a combination of the faculty and the modules themselves. The modules were really focused on practical skills and creating writing habits. There was a lot about craft, but it was also about like the practice of writing. And when you want to write commercially, that's a really, really big part of it. And having the structure that allow you to produce a body of work. It was a really good blend of theory and practical. And by theory, I mean lots of learning about the craft. So learning about narrative structures, characterization methods, how to do research, important historical works of fiction. And then the practice is writing. It's just actual writing. There wasn't necessarily an assumption that we would be writing on our own, and therefore this was just helping to inform that. It was giving us not only the tools to do good writing, but also the space to do good writing within that curriculum. And the other thing was the faculty. So the person that I ended up working on my dissertation with as my advisor was James Smythe, who is a science fiction writer both for adults and YA. And I was really excited to work with him. There were a couple of other authors on the program that I really admired, both because they wrote things that were like what I wanted to write and because they wrote things that I aspired to take influence from. So an example of that is Leonie Ross. It was just such a joy studying under Leonie. She's absolutely brilliant as a person and as a writer and as an instructor, and I learned so much from her. I really liked the way my program was structured in the sense that I had my classes in the evenings, so I was able to do my internship during the day. And I really liked that structure because the way my brain works, if I'm too focused on one specific thing, I can get bored and I can start to check out, even if it's something I would otherwise find really, really interesting. So by having both of those things going on at once, they both started to feel more important to me. It meant I was having to proactively find time for my MA work, which meant that I felt more invested in it. The University of Roehampton is not a well-known program, but the prestige of the program is far less important than the capability of the instructors. So looking at who the faculty were and looking at the way the program was structured and what the focuses were, that was what led me to believe that it was maybe a more commercially focused program and what made me interested. I will say most of the faculty that was there at the time that I studied unfortunately isn't at the university any longer, and it was kind of a mass exodus because of some university decisions and policies that were in place. So I cannot say, despite the fact that my testimonial is still on the website and they refuse to take it down, I cannot say that I endorse the University of Roehampton's department anymore because I know nothing about it. I mentioned the work that I did with James, and I think that that's a really important point to cover because your advisor will make or break your master's degree experience. I knew that I wanted to work with James. He was one of the reasons that I came to the program. He was actually not one of my instructors for one of my classes. He was only teaching on the undergraduate program at that time. And a lot of the work that I did there with him made me feel empowered for the work that I now do in the romance genre because, like science fiction and fantasy, it can rely really heavily on tropes in order to create an expectation for the reader to then either fulfill or subvert. But the thing is, I might not have gotten to work with James. It was amazing that I did, but he wasn't even teaching on the program that semester, so I shouldn't have been able to work with him. I knew that going into it, and so I chose a program with multiple people I would have been happy to work with. I had 3 backups, so make sure you choose a program that has multiple people that you want to work with as an advisor. Nobody cares about master's degree in creative writing except you. Publishers don't care, agents don't care. Please know that if you're doing this, you are doing it for yourself. The return on investment of that is going to be internal, and it's going to be in whatever writing output it produces that is valuable to you in your life, whether that's commercial or personal. It's as much work as you make it. If you don't care and you don't want to do the work and you don't want to do anything and you just want to coast through the program, they're not going to care either. So if you don't do the work, you're going to be the only one who suffers But also the flip side of that is no one's gonna give you a pat on the back for going above and beyond in a master's degree. It's gotta be something that you do because you feel driven to do that work in that moment. My MA program changed my life for a lot of different reasons, but I'm really, really lucky in that the program itself did really make me a better writer, and it really set me up for the career and the life that I have today. If you've had a different kind of experience on your creative writing MA, absolutely please add that to the conversation. Comment below and let everyone else who's watching this know what your experience was like, because I promise you it was different than mine. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I've got some more writing vlogs coming your way soon, and I'm really excited to share a little bit more about my progress on my current book. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.